Well, hello there, and a happy new year to you all.
Well, yeah, I mean, New Year's Eve into
Yeah.
New Year's. So if you're listening to this New Year's Eve, happy nearly New Year.
Yeah.
And if it's January, happy
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year.
Well, I feel like we should have had party poppers and
Um,
Prosecco.
oh heck, I know, but it's the middle of the day where we are.
It
So
is.
we're actually going to be talking about beating those January blues, which is a really good topic to speak about around about this time, because yes, we are heading to the new year. We are celebrating the new year, but January itself can bring along so much kind of oh woe and just general kind of downness. And a lot of it obviously will have to do with the weather. Um, that worry more than likely that possibly we spent a bit too much than we should. That'd be quite a lot of people.
Hmm.
But I'm sure, Adele, you're going to go into what those January blues may be and how we can start beating them. I hope I'm right.
Yes, hopefully. Happy New Year or nearly Happy New Year to you as well, Margaret. It's so
Thank
funny,
you.
isn't it? We record these in advance, but it is the time that this will be going out that people will be feeling it. If you're very much an avid fan, this is probably going out around the 30th, 31st New Year's Eve. So if you're catching it then, yay for you, let us know. But I think most people it'll be into the new year. So yeah, it's kind of like it always surprises me how much, it's like the season is you know, it starts early now, doesn't it? It starts earlier and earlier every year. The supermarkets get all the chocolate in September and then all of the things and the telly. And then you start with the Christmas adverts and it's all this big, big, big build up. And then we kind of just get going. We've bought all the stuff in, we've bought everything in, the cupboards are full, but it's so short, like
Yeah.
really, the actual Christmas week. It's like a week kind of thing. And then as soon as it hits January, the
Oh,
media, the amount of stuff that is out there, then you're bombarded with how to lose a stone in a week and how to be more healthy and the biggest losers and whatever it's called all over
new
the
year, new
telly.
me. Yeah.
New year, new me, and like resolutions and right, let's go. It's a brand new year. What are you going to achieve this year? And what are your goals and what are your resolutions? And it's all a bit, whoa,
Hell of a lot of pressure, isn't it?
it's pressure. And it's like, wait a minute, like yesterday I was okay to eat all the things and today I've got to get rid of them all and swap it all for like a fridge full of fruit and nuts kind of thing.
Mm.
And it's just you need to remember that you're in the middle of winter or maybe even early winter. It really is the start of winter, isn't it? 1st of January. It's kind of like, you know, it depends what calendar you look at, but December is still autumn in a lot of calendars.
It is, yeah.
Um, and so really, we're going into like January, February, March, those really cold. That's when in the UK anyway, we get those cold snaps and those wintry, cold days, which can be beautiful, but also we can get all the wet and windy weather and everything. We're not really in the right space or frame of mind for, you know, going out and exercising more, going to the gym and changing everything up for salad and vegetables and things. We're kind of not craving that kind of food. So it feels very much like we're trying to swim against the tide if we start on the 1st of January going, it has to be now. And then we set those resolutions and we just set ourselves up for a fail. So for the last few years at least, I've been changing how I do that, and trying not to bombard myself as much with the stuff all over the telly and keeping up with everything. And just going a lot more gently and going, you know what, bought all this stuff in, kind of just use it up, but maybe throttle back a little bit. So, it's like I always talk about, it's go gently. Just eat less of it.
Yeah.
You might have been going crazy at Christmas, so just kind of wean yourself off it a little bit more moderation. Use up you The other thing is everyone's bought you all these things, haven't they? Like treats. Do you know you forget every year, like you've been bought loads of things like chocolates and goodies as presents because nobody
Yeah.
knows really what to buy anyone. Everyone
No.
buys everyone stuff they don't want. So instead of feeling like, oh God, I've got to eat it all before the 1st of January, just put it away. Have like one or two a night, or think, well, I'll have those every weekend. And so don't deprive yourself of those treats and those things that people have bought you if you want to have them. Just think about how you can kind of start to make those changes. So I've got 7 tips. If we can get through those, we'll see how we go. Number one is daylight.
Oh
It's
God.
extremely lacking. If you live in the Northwest, it's lacking most of the year round, but it's lacking in January for sure.
Yeah.
The weather might not be great, so we're more likely to stay in. We're more likely to feel like we just want to hide under the duvet instead of getting outside. So there's a lot to be said for that vitamin D and the fact that we really need a good 10 to 30 minutes of that every day for most people, depending on the color of your skin, whether you need more or less. So it's whether you're paler or darker and things like that. But as a general rule of thumb, it does no harm to try and get yourself outside every day for at least half an hour. And that could be, if possible, because it's going to be dark in January. So if you start walking in the morning, like you do in the summer when it's like 7 a.m. or whatever, if you're walking your dog and stuff, it might still not be very light. So try and get out at lunchtime. If you're at work, maybe you can fit that 20-minute, half an hour walking. Maybe you could say to someone, do you want a walking meeting instead of
Yeah.
sitting in a chair and having that meeting? Meet somebody and go for a walk to have that meeting if you're lucky enough to have a job that lets you do that. Not everyone does, I know.
That's actually a
So
good shout, though. That's a really good shout because
yeah.
that's actually how our mind works. If there is light in the morning and we get out, that's resetting our natural rhythm. And if we
Hmm.
get out around about lunchtime, that again is resetting the natural rhythm because our body then knows it's around about noon lunchtime. Therefore, it'll reset itself to know when it should actually start producing likes of melatonin later on during the day. So good shout.
Yeah, and we can be tempted to stay in if it's not great weather, and you could be tempted to think, well, I'm not going to get any vitamin D. And we're all wrapped up. We need to try and get that vitamin D on our skin. So I get it, but it's better to get some than not at all. And even the vitamin D coming in through like your eyes and on your face is still something, and even on your hands if it's not too cold that you're having to wear gloves. But so even if it's raining, I always try to get out every day for a walk, just wrap up, put your brolly up, you won't melt. And you will feel better for it. I have never, ever, ever, I promise you, been for a walk in whatever weather, whether it's raining sideways. I've never regretted going. I've never come home and thought,
That was
I
crap.
shouldn't have done that. I've laughed. I've been
Yeah.
so wet, I've laughed, but I've never regretted it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're indoors, you're feeling a bit crap because it's January, just get your trainers on and get out for a walk. Even listening to the rest of this now, if it's possible and it's, safe to do so, just get out for a walk. Um, yeah, so that's for the vitamin D as well, which is, the sunshine vitamin that we don't get enough of in our part of the world. So tip number 2 is add some extra vitamin D by adding it into your diet. So that might be that you need a supplement, and you can get these things checked if you're lucky enough to get in with the doctor and things like that. If you want to make sure you check, then you're not ODing on vitamin D. I doubt anyone is
Mhm.
if you're in the UK getting too much vitamin D. So you could always use a top up generally, but oily fish is good for that. Margaret, you probably can add some things to this, but I've just put things like your likes of salmon and oily fish, mackerel, and eggs, the egg yolk and things like that. So adding things like that. If you're vegan, there'll be alternatives for sure, and definitely supplements that you can take. Got any more tips on the vitamin D,
Nuts and
Margaret?
seeds.
Nuts and seeds. There you go. So yes, and regular viewers or listeners will know that I have Greek yogurt in the morning with my
Absolutely.
nuts and seeds. I've now been carefully selecting my seeds after Margaret's amazing seed cycling podcast. If you haven't caught that,
There you
where
go.
have you been? Go back and listen, especially if you're female and you want to help balance the hormones, which
Yeah.
is what I'm doing it for. Because they're all over the place at the minute. So thank you for that. Tip number 3 is I say treat yourself. Okay, so you're feeling rubbish. It's January, all the fun's over, no one's going out anymore, everyone's skint. There are different ways you can treat yourself. So if you have got a little bit of money, or if somebody popped a little bit of money in your Christmas stocking, why not go for a massage?
Mm.
Use that money instead of buying more stuff that you don't need, more clothes that you don't need that you can't fit in your wardrobe. Spend it on self-care. Go for a massage, book into a nice little spa. Maybe you can go for a swim or something like that. So that would be amazing if you can do that. If not, create your own mini spa at home. Use some lovely essential oils. Hit me up if you're not sure where to start with that. I recommend a very good quality essential oil brand. You could diffuse those, you could use candles, you could like just set yourself up a really nice environment, which you might not think to always do, right? If you're just sat at home feeling rubbish because it's January and you're just binging on Netflix, instead turn that off and go and make yourself a spa experience. You can even do this in your shower. So you can pop some nice essential oils, and I'm going to give some tips around those in a minute, on the shower floor, and that the steam, then you've got the steam as well. You can breathe all that in, the uplifting oils. You could, again, you might have been lucky enough to have been bought some stuff that it's a real favorite with people, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
body creams and shower gels, and you might be like, oh, I don't know what to do with all this. Use some of that, like body scrubs, make a little ritual about it.
Mm.
Do it really slowly, do it mindfully, put on some music. Sometimes I do this. I don't always think of it because you're like in the shower and if you don't have music in there, but even just taking your phone in, not in the shower itself, but like balancing it
Yeah,
on the windowsill or putting it on a shelf, play some like spa music
absolutely.
and
Well,
just create that nice,
I'm
feeling.
the person that has their birthday in January. All the joys.
Mm.
Mine's slap bang in the middle, 16th of January, everyone, just in case you want to know.
Oh, there's still time, everyone, to get the cards.
But yeah, I know this feeling quite well because when it comes round to my birthday, the last thing people want to do is celebrate.
Yeah.
So I've kind of got used to it over the years, and you know, whether I celebrate a little bit later or just don't expect a great deal, shall we say, and
Oh,
and just really hone in on myself and make
yeah.
myself feel good. So yeah, I
Yeah,
completely
do
get
you
what
know,
you mean.
thank you for that, because there are people probably listening who have January birthdays, or, even worse than that, like the 1st of January or
Oh,
something, where people think, oh God, because it's not about you then, is it? It's about New Year, and, or people that have like Christmas birthdays, like, right, I used to work with a guy that was 25th of December, and it's like, oh my gosh, because
oh,
everyone's not thinking about, yeah, people have got, oh, and happy birthday, but it's all about everyone else.
yeah,
And birthdays are meant to make you feel special, aren't they? So, yes, absolutely. If no one else is going to do it for your damn self,
yeah,
for sure. And because everyone else is just staying in and doing all the things, it's the perfect time. Because I always say, like, go with the tide, don't swim against the tide. If the tide is everyone staying in and it's this, that, and the other, and it's dark nights, make the most of that then, do the candles, have a bath, have a
mhm,
shower. You could do this, obviously, this spa experience in your bath as well. And just, read a book, light some candles in the bath, make it all bubbly, and use some of that stuff that people have bought you. It's a really good time to do that. And I just wanted to say that because, as well, if people think like to treat yourself, sometimes it has to be a financial thing. So
so
yeah, if you have got some money that you've got for Christmas and you can treat yourself that way, go and spend the vouchers or go and have the massage, brilliant. But if not, there's loads you can do in your own home. Number
what
four
I
is,
will say though, sorry, Adele, what I will
oh,
say, January, you'd normally find things are a little bit cheaper, shall we safely say
aha,
that?
absolutely. Again, going with that tide. And yes, you've got all the sales.
Mm,
If you wanted to go and pick up some spa stuff for
yeah,
yourself, go in the likes of Boots, even on Boxing Day, and everything's slashed, isn't it? You've just spent like
yeah,
£20 on this product that's now a fiver kind of
either.
thing. So yeah, don't get people to, just give you cash for Christmas and then just go and get all what you want in the sales and you'll get more for your money. So yes, thank you for that. Number 4 is make time for friends
Yeah.
because, like you've just said, nobody wants to go out. Everyone's skin, everyone's like, oh yeah, well, I'd love to, but that can mean then we're a little bit socially isolated. So my tip is it doesn't stop you from dropping in on somebody and having a coffee at their house, saying, do you want to just catch up on Friday night or something, and I'll come round to you or you come to me. We'll have a pajama night. Do you ever do that? Like put your PJs on. So it's
Yeah.
not about getting dressed up and putting all the effort in. And like, I just love it if somebody says, let's have like a PJ night, a
Hmm.
few girlfriends, put a movie on, get some snacks. So it's not, you might not even want to drink. It can just be put your joggers on even and
Yeah.
just it's no makeup policy, and it's just like relax, chill. And I'm like, yes, I'm there. What time do you want me? So that could be a way in,
Yeah.
or even just picking the phone up, speaking to someone on the phone, checking in with people, asking how they are is a really nice thing to do as well. They might be glad that you've reached out to them. So, don't just spend your time on social media, but try and see people in real life. Go for a walk with someone. How about like asking a friend if they fancy like walking the dog together, that winter walk, getting wrapped up, and then you get tip number 1 and tip number 4 in one hit.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And so tip number 5 is keep up with some kind of exercise. So it can be all too easy just to like let everything go because it's winter and it's January and we're cold and we can't be bothered going to the gym and things like that. But I want to say around this, choose something that you enjoy because we can easily see exercise in January as really like punishing, like really punitive, like, oh, I've got to do it because I'm a bad person because I overate at Christmas and now I'm carrying half a stone extra and blah, blah, blah. So, like I was saying at the start, this is not like, right, new year, new me, go into the gym, lose all the weight. This is just move in some way that you enjoy. That's actually going to make you feel like you want to do it more. If you enjoy a winter walk, go for a winter walk. If you enjoy swimming, go swimming. If you enjoy going to the gym because you enjoy that and the classes and all of that, then just, book
Yeah,
yourself
go.
in and do that.
But yes,
Yoga,
what
do some yoga, do something that you enjoy.
it's that movement that'll really help your digestion as well. L-
Hmm.
It'll really help.
Kickstart that again.
Exactly. Your digestion and your gut health. Movement, I don't think people realize the importance of that, that really does keep your gut a lot more healthy. If you're sedate, then so is everything else, really.
Yes, like move around. And like these do tie in, so it might sound like, oh, it's such a lot, but going for that walk, like I said, if you meet up with someone once a week or something, or even joining a walking club, whatever, but you can get your social interaction with this important for our health. It's important for our happiness. You can get your exercise. That's having all these knock-on effects for your gut and for your inflammation levels and all of that stuff, which leads to optimum overall vitality and health. So, sometimes you can hear, like, say, this time of year, like, everyone needs to do this and go and join a HIIT class and blah, blah, blah. If you like detest that or, it's
Yeah,
not
don't
your
do
thing,
it.
don't do it. But there must be something that, is movement based that you enjoy. Perhaps, you really like Zumba or dancing and there's a dance class that you could say, do you know what? I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna join that. Martial arts class, whatever it is. Find something that you think, aha, that sounds good to me. I'm gonna give that a go. There's so much out there now. There must be something. But just start, do it because you enjoy it. Don't do it because you are beating yourself about it.
Yeah.
Tip number 6 is go easy on the diet in inverted commas. And this is it's going to feed right into Margaret's. I knew it when I wrote it. I was like, yes, because like I said at the beginning, everything's going to be bombarding you. Every advert, all those TV programs, yes, they're helpful, but it's a lot. In January, it's a lot. That's all that's on. It's on the news, it's on all those TV programs, it's in all the magazines, front cover, January edition. It's all about that. So if you're getting bombarded with all this stuff, but then you're like, oh, I've got all this stuff still to use up, and I don't feel like eating super healthy because it's still cold and dark and wintry, I would again just say, just what one small thing can you do? Start with like a little tweak. If you've been going crazy over Christmas, you can't suddenly go cold turkey, but what can you do that would like be a step in the right direction? And that might be just adding in things rather than taking away. So it might be that you think, I don't think I've eaten very much fruit and vegetables, to be honest, the whole of December. So let's add some of those back in. Let's pick some of those up when I go shopping and just go, where can I sprinkle in the seeds, the nuts, the berries? Where can I start adding in more veg and fibre? And that could be just really nice casseroles and stews and that kind of comforting feeling. And so it's just like, think about it like, what can I do to look after my poor little heart that's going, help, because I've been like really struggling in December with all of the drinking and the partying. What can I do to help my little gut? Those we talked about it on a podcast or two ago, the little gut creatures, the microbiome that are like, oh my God, I'm dying because, we've been mistreating them. So if you start thinking of your body in this way, like really like wanting to look after all these, they're like little separate organisms, aren't they? Like the gut's its own little environment. The heart's it's so clever what it does. I've been learning about this recently on my yoga therapy course. When you start looking at what your body does for you when you're not even thinking about it, it's absolutely incredible. And if we just mistreat it all the time, it will not be able to keep doing what it does best. It will start struggling, like mistreating a car, not putting the fuel in, not taking it for its MOTs and services, it will start to fail.
Yeah.
So, what can you do that will just be a small step in the right direction without thinking, boom, 1st of January, out with all of that and in
Yeah.
with all of this? Then you fail, you fall off the wagon. You're like, oh, you say, no more drink at all. This is what people do. No more drink at all. 1st of January, that's me. That's another thing that's really common in January, dry January.
Yeah.
Again, it's this all or nothing thinking. Well, no, I say no to hell with that. I'm still having my little drinkies at the weekend, but I'm just not drinking all of the time. Like you might be drinking a lot more in December. So just moderation is
Yeah.
so much more achievable. It's going to leave you feeling like you've achieved something and you've not fallen off um completely, which means then you're like swinging from one thing to the next. Does that make sense?
Does it's that complete overwhelm that you get
Mm-hmm.
in January of everything just bombarding you, and you're right on the button there when it comes to like it's a bloody good reason that you don't like salads and what have you. You don't want to have the salads in January because it's not salad season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we should be
Because your body,
eating
yeah,
what's grown at the time, right? So like
exactly.
all those root vegetables and the
Mhm.
parsnips and the carrots and all the stew stuff, that's what we should be eating at that
Yeah,
time.
exactly. So if you're not into salads at that time of year, there's a damn good reason that you're not.
Yeah, and
Go for the
just
casseroles and the soups and the stuff like
but
that.
maybe you throw in those extra veg, or maybe you
Mhm.
reduce your portion size a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe you stop having desserts every day and you have like one every other day or one at the weekend, or so it's like what small steps can you do? That's the message, that will be a step in the right direction, that is achievable, that's going to leave you feeling good because you've done it, instead of feeling like shit, because
Yeah.
that's, let's be honest, that's what everything can make us feel like at this time of year. Lastly is those lovely essential oils. So I said I was going to give you a tip. So try mood boosting essential oils. So they're generally things like citrus, things like lemon, things like wild orange. Yes, the lemon oil. You can, if you've got a very good pure essential oil like that one is that Margaret's showing if you're on YouTube, it's the doTERRA lemon oil. You can have that in warm water as well, and that's another little step in the right direction, your body and your digestive system. Drinking um warm water is very good for you. So like you could have your little drop of lemon or orange in there just to give it a little bit of extra taste. Do be careful. Don't just buy essential oils down the local shop and put them in your water, please.
Definitely not.
They are full of everything else that's added. They are not generally not pure. So let me know if you need help with that. I'm always happy to help with the essential oils. Neroli is another kind of orange-based essential oil. Bergamot, that's a lovely one, very uplifting. So you can diffuse them around in your home using a cold water diffuser. Don't put them in the burners and heat them up. The good quality oils, that will kill a lot of the benefits of the oil. So cold water diffuse them, drop them into your shower tray or shower floor, pop them into your bath, make yourself a beautiful, again, going back to the fact that, people haven't got a lot of money, you can make your own body scrub really
Mm.
simply using something like, sugar and your essential oils. You can make lots of homemade products that are really organic and healthy, because we need to be careful what we're putting on our skin. I'm not the best at this. I'm not the, I don't, again, it's quite overwhelming, isn't it? I don't have clean products yet. Going back to that make small tweaks, just starting to look into it, and the likes of Julia Bradbury talks about it a lot, like low tox living, makeup even. This be maybe a podcast for another time when I've investigated more, but she talks about a lot of good brands, because what we're putting on our skin, this is the largest organ of our body, and it's all getting absorbed.
Yes.
So we, wearing less makeup or making switches to cleaner products is something we can do. But anyway, that's not for today. So just, yeah, trying those mood boosting oils, maybe popping them on your wrist, just breathing them in, popping them into your hands. There's lots of ways that you can get those into the system, and they will help to boost mood as well. So that's like 7 good tips that everyone can hopefully do and try, and that will hopefully help you to lift your mood. And my final one would just be, this too shall pass. That's my favorite thing when I'm feeling rubbish. And it drags on, doesn't it? January, everyone's kind of not got the money, and we're waiting for payday and all of that. But it's a long month. It feels a long
It's
month
like a
often.
year,
It
January.
does feel a long month, doesn't it? But it always passes. Every year it passes. And it doesn't take long into February before we start seeing the light start to re-emerge. Around mid-February you do see a difference.
You
So
definitely
it's not
do.
that long off. Hang in there.
I know. Even as we're recording this now in September, people,
Mm-hmm.
the nights are starting to come in the mornings are getting a bit darker. So I
Mm-hmm.
know what's on the way, but it's just like, well, crikey.
Happens every year.
Yeah.
It passes every year, and
Mhm.
then we just get, all the light back. So hang in there, and just,
Yeah,
if all else fails, this too will pass. But, try some of the tips.
definitely. Try each and every one of them if you can, or just pick your favorite one or two.
Mm,
Thank you very much, Adele.
you're very
That's
welcome.
perked me up for ready for me January birthday, 16th of January, everyone.
Yay! Yes, get it in your calendars. Oh,
So if you've liked this episode, please do give us a thumbs up. Give us absolutely subscribe if you can, because when you actually subscribe, you get notifications of when it comes out, so you can get first dibs on listening to it. So do like, subscribe, and let us know if you've got any tips for a better January too.
yes, please. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.